Hi, it's Darnell with Way Loving Recipes, and this is my review of the FoodSaver Premier multi-use vacuum sealer system. And so I've got the unit itself. I've also got a box that's kind of like refills, so it's got like 46 pre-cut ones and some heat seal rolls, but those are for refills. We'll be going through a review of the main unit here and how to use things. And so I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed. Alright, so now that everything's unboxed, basically it comes with a manual and basically tells you how to use the unit. It's got really a lot of pages because I think it's in different languages. So the actual English part is, let's see how many pages that is. That goes up to about page 25, is it? I think it's 25. Yeah, up to, no, page 22. So 22 pages of documentation, and then I guess if you want to get into other languages, it has a lot of other languages. But the unit itself comes with a good number of different bags, so it's got like a roll, and you can use the roll to kind of like cut your own bags. With the unit, it's got like its own way to cut bags if you want to cut them to a special size. And it also comes with a bunch of different pre-cut size bags so that you can try those out. And the unit has this cord here. It's about a, well, it's supposed to be, let's see, it's a pretty long cord. Look at that. That's pretty long. So that's a pretty long cord. And it's a two-prong polarized cord. Now I have my notes here just to talk to you about the unit some. It's a 130 watt unit, so it doesn't take much power at all, very low on power usage. And I guess, you know, you're just going to be using it to seal and vacuum seal bags, so you're not going to be running it a very long time, so it shouldn't take much power at all. And the dimensions are 5.9 inches in height, 8.4 inches in width, and 16.2 inches in length. And I just want to tell you some more about the unit before we get into some more of the details, just some general use guidelines for vacuum sealing in general and some things just to generally be aware of. Basically, they mentioned that you should always let the appliance cool down for 20 seconds after each use. So not a lot of time that you have to wait. 20 seconds isn't, you know, a long time at all. Now, for things like meats, they mentioned that you should pre-freeze them for 1 to 2 hours before vacuum sealing for best results. That's best results. I don't mean you have to do it, but they just recommend that. They say if that's not possible to pre-freeze, place like a folded paper towel between the meat and the top of the unit, the top of the bag. That's going to be kind of like near the top of the where it's going into the unit. We'll show you that later. Well, I probably won't be showing you the paper towel method, but I'll be showing you how the bags go in. And it's kind of like just below the seal area, because if the meat is not dry from freezing, you know, if it's going to have moisture and whatnot, you want to have the paper towel blocking so that that moisture doesn't suck up into the unit, because if it sucks up into the vacuum, if water or like particles or anything sucks up into the vacuum sealer, that's, you know, not going to be good for the unit. So basically that's how you do it to block the moisture and you get things sealed up that way. Now if you want to do like cheese, they say if you want to keep cheese fresh, you want to vacuum seal it after every use. So you want to make a bag that's extra long, vacuum seal it, then when you get some cheese out, cut it at the farthest of the end, get your cheese out, put it back in, and then seal it up again. You know, you'll have to cut a little bit off, but seal it up again so that you can continue resealing for the maximum life of the cheese. And of course, if you've gone to like a lot of stores, you see the cheese is in a vacuum seal, so you want to do the same type of thing for longer life. Now, they talk about with vegetables that if you're going to vacuum seal vegetables, you want to blanch them before you vacuum seal them, and that basically is a process of basically cooking them lightly, very lightly cooking them, and make sure they're still crisp. So you're going to like very lightly cook them while they're still crisp. And then basically you can vacuum seal them. And this basically what they say it does is it stops an enzyme action that could lead to loss of flavor, color, and texture. So something to keep in mind there. For leafy green vegetables, or for leafy vegetables, they say you can rinse them, dry them, and then if you have one of those FoodSaver canisters, a separate accessory I don't have here, you could use that and you could store them in the fridge. And they say due to the risk of anaerobic bacteria, you don't want to do mushrooms, onions, and garlic. You don't ever want to vacuum seal those, mushrooms, onion, and garlic. So sorry if you had ideas about sealing any of those three things. Now they say that with fruit, if you want to vacuum seal fruit, it's best to pre-freeze that. So think of it kind of like meat. They don't say that you have to do that, freeze it for like hours, but they just say pre-freeze it. For baked goods, they mention that you should pre-freeze those for 1 to 2 hours or until solidly frozen before you vacuum seal those. You don't want particles of stuff sucking up into the vacuum sealer. Now for powdery foods like flour and stuff, or something that's ground up, they mention that you want to, like I mentioned earlier, avoid particles getting sucked up. So if it came in like a small bag of some sort, leave it in the bag that it came in and vacuum seal that so that you don't have to worry about that issue. And of course also you could use the paper towel method that I talked about earlier. Now if you want to vacuum seal liquids, now, of course keep in mind you don't want to get anything up into your vacuum sealer, so how are you going to vacuum seal liquids? Basically you want to freeze them first. You want to freeze them like a brick first. And then basically you remove them from whatever container that you froze them in the freezer, and then you can put that in a vacuum seal bag and seal that up. So basically like you're sealing up a brick. And then you can, when you're ready to actually enjoy whatever that was that you froze, you can slowly simmer it to reheat, and then you can basically go ahead and use it for whatever you're going to use it for. And you don't want to vacuum seal anything fizzy. So if it's anything fizzy, they say don't vacuum seal it. And you can vacuum seal all kinds of other stuff they talk about in the manual, all types of other things and supplies that you can vacuum seal as needed. Now I'm giving you a slightly closer up view of the unit. You basically see here, this piece here is basically used for some of their accessories. Like if you had FoodSaver zipper bags or their canister, you could use this with that. That's what this accessory is for. It's for vacuum sealing those special types of containers. But here on the unit you see like it's got a vacuum button, seal button, mode button for different types of things like dry, moist, or pulse. And from what I've noticed in research, they say that you want to have a vacuum sealer with the pulse function. It's good to have. And over here on the right side of the unit, it's got basically some icons for like vacuum or marinate and mode. It's got the handheld button for the handheld unit here. And inside you can see where a roll would go here if you need to use a roll, and you can basically put your bag down in here when you're basically vacuum sealing stuff up. But you leave your roll in here just to kind of cut a bag out, and then you use it here in the unit, and I'll show you how to use it in the unit here. This part, comes out. You can clean that. So we'll go ahead and we'll show you some more of how to use the unit in a minute. But this is your bag cutter. This is so that you can cut your bags after you make them, or after you seal them and stuff, you can cut them. Okay, so just for a demonstration, I'm going to try and maybe cut this bag down a little bit as far as size, just to show how you can cut a bag down, or if you had the roll, you'd cut a bag down on size some. But I just wanted to show you these bags have like a little area where you can write the date and the type of food or what have you. I guess you could write it on any part of the bag, but they have a little area right there for these pre-sized bags. But if you put it in here, and let's say I just wanted to cut it down and just cut like this part off, or I could go further in, but I'm just gonna set it like that and just close things up. I'm gonna plug the unit in. Now I've got it plugged in. It doesn't like light up or anything like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and do a seal first. Well, let's see if I can turn it on. Oh, I forgot to show you over here on the side that here on the side it's got this lever and it's got different options. It's got open, which is currently on for opening it up. Then it's got the store option, and then it's got the operate option. So I basically turn it down to the operate setting and it locks in, and now things light up. So got a little light up there and whatnot. And so now I'm going to go ahead and hit the seal button to seal things up. And so just let it go ahead and run for a moment. And so I think it's done. So let's see if I switch it to open. Open up. Yeah, my bag's got a seal on it, so it sealed the bag up. So I'm just going to close it back to operate again. And I'm just going to cut the bag. And now I'm going to open up again. And yeah, cut the top of the bag off. So if I'd sealed it, if I left it sealed, you see it like sealed the bag here. So sealed it up. So I could have just had a sealed bag if that's what I wanted. It's a tight seal. But I cut it so that I have a slightly smaller bag now, because I made a slightly smaller bag like I showed you I was going to do. And so we'll go ahead and we'll do some vacuum sealing with this, a quick vacuum seal demo. So I've got some chocolate chunks here. These aren't like chips, they're really kind of like baking chunks. You can see here. So I'm going to just put some of these into the bag, and then we'll seal it up as a demo seal. We'll vacuum it up and then seal it up. But some of these in here. There we go. Alright, so we got a bunch of these little chocolatey chunky things in the bag. So again, I just kind of put it in here like so, and I'm just going to close it, put it on the operate setting, and now that it's there, I can do vacuum. So I hit vacuum. See, sucks it up like that, and it'll automatically stop. It'll figure out when things are done, and then it goes right to seal. So it did the vacuum, then it does the seal, and so as long as that's lit, it's sealing. I'll wait till that's done with the seal, and then we'll see how things are once it's done. So it's done. Boom, done. Open up, and we'll have to wait 20 seconds before we can use it again. But we see we've got some, these are basically, this is tight. I mean, this is tight, okay? These things are vacuumed up tight. And we got the seal on the top, so this thing is sealed up. It's good to go. These will, I guess last a long time in there. Let's see if I can find another little one real quick. And here's another little bag. So I'll put some more of these chips in here. I want to do a sound decibel test, because you probably heard it was, it wasn't quiet while it was running. It was pretty audible. So we'll just do some sound decibel test to see how loud it gets. So I'm just going to close up. I'm going to lock it down, and I've got a little sound decibel tester here on my phone, so I'm going to go ahead and get that set up right quick. Alright, so I've got my sound decibel app here to track the sound, and you can hear, you can see how it's bouncing up and down when I talk, how it's picking up the sound. I just want to show you when I snap my fingers how it goes up. Try and keep that screen lit up. But we're going to go ahead and start it again and see how loud it gets. Alright, so it was louder than I'm talking. It was like up in the 70s the whole time. So it was at like a solid 70. So when it's running, it's pretty loud, but like I said before, it doesn't run for very long, which is cool. So going ahead and getting this one out. I got another sealed up bag there. Now with the roll, I could set the roll in here, and I could, pull out as much of a bag as I wanted. I could cut it, and then I could seal one end of it. Then I could vacuum some stuff in it, and then seal the other side, basically, to, do that, to do a vacuum seal. I guess I'll just do a quick demo of that. So let me take the roll off here. Get this tape off this roll. Alright, got that out the way. So I set the roll up in here, and you can just, say like, how big do I want my bag to be today? Not very big. I'm going to have a small bag. So I just kind of lock the thing in, and I could just cut down a small bag. So I just cut it. Now I got a nice little tiny bag. And I can leave this in here, I guess, or if I want to take it out, I guess I can take it out. But anyway, I've got this bag, it's got two open ends on it, which we don't want. So stick it on in here, and I've got to seal it, right? So close it up, put it on operate, and I'm going to seal my bag. So I'm going to seal that up right quick. Alright, so my bag's done sealing. It takes seconds to seal, no time at all. So I've got basically the bottom of this little bag sealed up. Now I can put some more of my little chocolate chunk things into this bag. So there we go. That's the end of my bag here. And I can just stick this right here, like that. And I can close up, put it on the basically the operate setting, so it's ready to operate. And so now I can go ahead and start sealing things up. I could use the automatic method to seal it like you've already seen, and basically have it all sealed up. So let's see. So this time I'm going to switch to mode. Like if you had some moist stuff, you could use the moist setting, and it would, kind of try and do that carefully with a moist seal. I'm going to use the pulse setting, and so going to hit vacuum here with pulse, and basically I can manage it with pulse. So like I can say, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, so that if it's something that I don't want to have sucked up too quick, I can basically pulse it to regulate it. Alright, so for the paper towel method, I'm just going to kind of visually demonstrate. I was just checking the manual a little more to make sure I had it right. I think it's something easier to understand using the unit than it is just reading it as I was earlier in preparation. But I think the paper towel is supposed to be kind of like between the meat and the seal. I guess it could be in the bag, but you want it to kind of be in between before you get to the seal. You don't want it to be above the seal and get like kind of locked up in the seal. So I don't know if they want it in the bag or just above the bag. I guess it would make sense for it to be in the bag because it's not going to do much And so I guess then you kind of like got this paper towel in the bag with your stuff that you sealed up, you know, and you have it like below the seal, kind of like that. I mean, that kind of quirky to have, you know, paper towel in there sealed up, you know, whatever food you have. I think it's just better to, if you're going to be sealing up something liquidy, freeze it. If you got meat that's wet, freeze it first. If it's something powdery, try and like pack it in or put it down in something that kind of holds it in place and keeps it covered so that you don't have to worry about using like the paper towel method, and seal it up that way. I think that's just going to be your best bet there. Now I want to show you another option for vacuum sealing things that are wet. This is something that I would say do at your own risk. If things get messed up, don't blame me. That's basically what I'm telling you. But basically you can close up the bag like this, and once you got it closed up, let's say I had some wet food in here, okay? It's wet, it's got juices and whatnot. You can lift the unit up. See how I'm holding the unit up? And basically the juices and stuff are going to fall down and stay down on the bottom. And then you can start vacuum sealing. You can hit your vacuum button. Let things seal up while you're holding it up in the air. And that way juices and stuff don't go up into your unit. And you can try that instead of dealing with paper towels and such if you want to try that method. It seems like if you're going to be doing something wet, and you got to do it wet, you know, you can try that and maybe it'll be less hassle. So, you know, we've gone over the unit. It's pretty simple. It's got the vacuum, the seal, it's got the modes for dry foods, moist foods, and pulsing, and showed you how to pulse. You got your bag cutter, you got your vacuum setting, which we've been using. You've also got the marinade setting, which would be used with their marinade accessories, and the little handheld thing. I don't have the accessories to use that. So basically that's the whole unit, but it's pretty simple, it's pretty quick, it's pretty easy, and like I said, I think it's easier to just unbox and use the thing and learn how to use it than it is trying to read through the manual to kind of walk yourself through it. Even watching a bunch of videos, it's just easier to kind of work with it first. But you see, once it seals things up, they're pretty rock solid, and I think they work best with dry stuff. But as I also said, it's good to have a unit that has that pulse feature, because pulse, you know, if you have to regulate it by hand instead of it being automatic, that pulse feature comes in handy if you encounter something where you want to pulse doing it. And I want to talk to you about cleaning. They say that you should clean it after every use if fluid is visible. I mean, if you don't see any fluid like this one, I've been, you know, doing a bunch of dry stuff. There's nothing visible to clean, so it doesn't need to be cleaned. But if you have like some water or something, you'd want to use like a warm soapy rag and clean it up good and wipe it down afterwards. They do say that overall the unit should hold up, except for this gasket seal. Over time, like these gasket seals might get old or worn out or something, and then you have to basically get that replaced. And we'll talk about storing the unit. Basically, as I showed you on the side here, there is a store setting, so turn it here to store, and that's how the unit is supposed to be set when it's stored. So let's talk about the warranty. Unit comes with a 5-year warranty, limited warranty, but 5 years is a pretty lengthy warranty. And so basically now you know how the unit is basically set up and used. And so, you know, when you want to vacuum seal whatever for whatever your purposes, you can do it. And this unit's supposed to help things last longer. And so that's pretty cool. And so nothing in the video is sponsored. In the video description, there are lots of ways to help the channel, such as my cookbook, merch, membership, donations, link to the Amazon shop where you pay the same price but help the channel. And so with all of that said, I do want to say if you did like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. You can always check out my blog, superwaveovenrecipes.com. That's superwaveovenrecipes.com. And there's lots of material there to enjoy. Also, you can share the video. You can also subscribe to the channel. And so with all of that said, I wish you and yours good eating.